Okay, so I want to start with something that's happened to basically everyone watching this. You signed up for a free trial, you forgot about it, and then one morning, you're half asleep scrolling your bank app, and there it is, some charge you don't recognize. From a company you maybe sort of remember giving your card to 3 weeks ago when you just wanted to watch one thing. And here's the part that really gets me. Your first instinct is to blame yourself. You think, I should have set a reminder. You feel a little embarrassed, maybe a bit annoyed, and then you do nothing. Because the hassle of fighting it feels worse than just eating the loss. I've done it. You've probably done it. And the reason it keeps happening isn't that we're forgetful people. It's that we are the product. Our forgetfulness isn't a bug in their system. It's the whole point of it. Let me give you a number that stuck with me when I was researching this. Americans lose around $205 a year on average to forgotten or unused subscriptions. That's from a 2025 CNET survey of real spending data. $205 just gone. Not spent on something you chose, not lost to a bad decision you made with full information. Gone because a company spent serious money engineering a system that relies on you not noticing. And before you think this is some niche problem with dodgy apps, I'm talking about Amazon, Adobe, LinkedIn, NortonLifeLock. These are companies with billions in revenue, armies of lawyers, and entire teams of behavioral scientists. And every single one of them has either been sued, fined, or hauled in front of the FTC for exactly this. Amazon alone settled with the FTC for $2.5 billion over how they handled Prime subscriptions. We'll get into the details of that in a minute. Because they are genuinely wild. But the point I want you to sit with right now is this. The free trial isn't a gift. It's a calculated bet that you won't remember. So, how does it actually work? Because once you see the mechanics, you start noticing them everywhere. The first move is always the credit card up front. And I know that feels normal now. It's just how signups work, right? But think about that for a second. You haven't seen the product yet. You don't know if it's any good, and they already have a direct line to your bank account. They'll tell you it's to prevent fraud or verify your identity. That's not why. The reason is that getting your card details before you formed any opinion about the service is the foundation the whole thing is built on. Once they have the card, the clock is running in their favor. Then comes what I'd call the paper trail problem. When you sign up, you get this lovely welcome email. Bright colors, your name in the subject line, "We're so glad you're here." But the email that tells you your trial is ending in 24 hours. If it comes at all, it looks like a system notification. It's designed to be ignorable. That's not a coincidence. The third piece is the cancellation process itself. And this is where it gets genuinely cynical. Signing up takes 30 seconds. Canceling takes you through 4, 5, sometimes 6 separate pages. Confirmations, surveys, guilt trip copy like, "Are you sure you want to lose access?" Some of them make you explain why you're leaving, as if you owe them a reason. It's designed to make you give up, and a lot of people do. And the last thing, the charge almost always hits at the very end of the deadline, not with a day to spare. Not with a grace period, right at the edge, sometimes after midnight. Because legally, the moment that timer runs out and you haven't canceled, your silence counts as consent. They call this negative option billing. It's an actual legal framework that says if you didn't say no in time, you said yes, which I find remarkable, honestly. You can build an entire business model on people not completing a maze in time, and it's perfectly legal. Now look, I know someone in the comments is going to say, this is just capitalism. People should read what they sign up for. And I get that argument. I genuinely do. But here's the thing. These companies don't actually believe it's fine either. I know that because of what they say when they think no one's watching. The FTC forced Amazon to hand over their internal documents during the lawsuit. And what's in those documents is not the language of a company that thinks it's offering a fair deal. Amazon had an internal project called the Iliad Flow, named after Homer's epic about a war that dragged on for 10 years. That's what they called their cancellation process, a 10-year war. Internal emails show that senior executives were directly involved in tracking how many extra cancellations they prevented every time they added a new step to the process. One employee described the whole subscription side of the business as a bit of a shady world. Another called non-consensual enrollment an unspoken cancer. They knew, they just kept doing it. And here's the legal part that I think most people don't know exists. There's a law called ROSCA, the Restore Online Shoppers Confidence Act, which requires companies to make cancellations simple, not buried, not multi-step, simple. Amazon was found to be in violation of it. So, was the fine enough to change the behavior? Well, $2.5 billion sounds like a lot, but Prime generated over $44 billion in subscription revenue last year. So do the maths on that. The other thing these companies do that I genuinely can't believe is legal is something called confirm shaming. That's when the decline button on a pop-up says something like, "No thanks, I don't want to save money," or "I prefer to stay unprotected." You have to click a button that insults you, I'm there, just to get to the next page. It's a small thing, but it's so deliberately unpleasant that it says everything about how these companies actually think about their users. Right. So what do you actually do about it? The single biggest thing, and I know this sounds slightly paranoid, but I promise it's worth it, is to stop giving companies your real card number for trials. Use a virtual card instead. Privacy.com is a free service that lets you generate temporary card numbers. Revolut does it too. Your bank might have something similar. The idea is simple. You create a card specifically for that trial, and you can delete it the moment you're done. No card, no charge. The whole system breaks. Second thing, if it's a 7-day trial, put a reminder in your phone for day 6. Not day 7, day 6. Give yourself a day of buffer because some of these systems process charges before the deadline technically hits. And third, when you do cancel, screenshot the confirmation page. Not because most companies will try to deny you canceled, but because some will. Having the receipt means the conversation is over before it starts. Here's the thing I keep coming back to after doing all this research. The money is annoying, but what actually bothers me about free trial dark patterns is what they normalize. We've all just accepted that the digital world is somewhere you have to be permanently on guard, that every sign-up might be a trap, that every button might be trying to trick you, and we've kind of shrugged and moved on. I don't think we should. Once you know how this works, you start seeing it everywhere. Not just with trials, with cookie banners designed to make accept all the easiest click, with return policies buried in 6-point font, with apps that make notifications opt out instead of opt in. It's the same playbook everywhere. You can't unsee it, which is kind of the whole point of this channel. Next week, we're getting into the 9.99 price point, why that specific number short circuits something in the human brain, and why every subscription in the world seems to cost exactly that. It's weirder than you'd expect. Subscribe if you want that. And until then, read the fine print. All of it, even the boring bits. See you next week.